The idea for this video came from my good friend Luis. He told me that I should talk about my experience with ADHD, what I've been going through, because I told him about it. We talked a little bit one night, and he said it really resonated with him. And I just want to see what the rest of the world has to say about what I've been through. And I'd kind of just like to share what I have been through, just in case there's anyone else out there who is maybe in a similar situation or, I don't know, looking for some hope. I cannot stress to you how good I have been recently. Um, my medication has finally started to work correctly. I've been taking medication for about a year. Um, Unfortunately, the medication hasn't been good until very recently. So the past year has been pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie. Please excuse my fan going on in the background. I like it cold in my room. Yeah, it's been really rough. Uh, Living with ADHD and not really knowing too much about it. I never even really considered it a possibility until I'd say senior year of high school, and it's over 2 years after that. So I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot in the last past year. I've learned I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about ADHD. I learned a lot about how my brain works, and it's kind of goofy. Um, I didn't realize how bad my ADHD was until like I don't know, because medication is a little funky. Um, the reason why I started medication was because my friend Dominic told me, "Yo, I like signed up online to talk with this person who can like give me medication for ADHD. I went through the process. He told me I most likely have ADHD. So he went to the pharmacy the same day, got his pills, and um, he told me what he felt on them. He told me, I don't remember exactly what he told me on that day, I'll be honest, but he told me that his ADHD symptoms were gone. So he listed off some of his coincided with some of mine. I realized, damn, it must be worth checking out because I've been wanting to, at that point I've been wanting to get medicated for a while. That was just sort of the deciding moment that made me actually go and do it. So thank you. Um, I went to work after I got my prescription, and I didn't eat beforehand, and I felt really off. I felt different. Part of it was the medication actually working, but part of it was also I didn't eat with the medication. I had a really bad habit of just not eating, but taking my medication anyway, which was really screwing with me, especially recently, because I didn't know how bad it was. I didn't know how bad it was to take medication on an empty stomach. I had no clue. Yo, I just wanted to add this in the video, just because I forgot to say a few things that explain a few things. Um, so first off, I wanted to say that ADHD like really deeply affects my decision-making skills when I'm not medicated. Um, it's awful. It's pretty terrible. And that has a little bit of a little to do with what I'm talking about right now. Um, Also, I wanted to mention that like never in my life have I needed um to like really take food with a pill. I assumed I'd be fine because I thought, hey, I've taken so many pills in my life without food and I've been fine. So I thought, how could these be any different? I didn't know. But they are very different. So, um, I know now. I struggled with that way longer than I should have. I should have been eating food with my medications at the very beginning. But I just didn't know, and that's completely on me. Oh well, live and you learn. That was about a year ago. I was at work, I felt pretty bad, but I noticed that some of my symptoms went away. One part of my ADHD is that I have a yapper, just a voice inside my head, my consciousness just spewing random thoughts at me. Just whatever the heart desired, whatever the brain, the ADHD unmedicated brain desired, whatever it wanted to think about, it did, all in the search of dopamine. If I'm not interested in what someone's saying or what's going on in front of me, my brain will tell my eyes to look for anything and anything that can possibly provide a distraction. And my brain will help loads in that too in because if I see anything, my brain is working overtime to think about a time that I saw that thing before, or any sort of detail that has to do with that object that I saw. The most insignificant, minutest of details are brought up into my brain, and they connect one object that I'm looking at or thought to another thought, to another thought, to another thought, and to another thought or to another memory, or it really doesn't matter. I'll just like my brain will come up with a scene or scenario or whatever, and there'll be so many details in what my brain conjures up, and I can just pick from any detail that I want, think of another memory, then continue on from there. And that's my yapper. My yapper just tries to find anything interesting that I can come up with. The first medication that I started taking got rid of that. And for me, that medication was Strattera. Strattera gets rid of my yapper. So I knew I wanted to keep taking Strattera because it works for me. It does something to my brain. It's effective. But it didn't get rid of all my symptoms. It didn't make me fully better. Um, and I knew it wasn't going to. And that's why I kept trying and struggling to help myself. And I did this by trying to do my homework on the medication. I did this by trying more in school and stuff. Um, but it ended up not being enough. And that's when I started on Adderall. And just taking Adderall was the worst week of my life. It was I didn't want to do anything. It just felt terrible. I just felt awful all day. I don't know. But then I started taking Strattera and Adderall, and the difference was huge. I was actually able to like do a little bit of work. And I realized that Adderall does different things than Strattera does. So I had to continue taking the Strattera and the Adderall so that I can get the benefits from Strattera and the benefits from Adderall. And even though I felt better, it still wasn't enough. So I got prescribed to take some more Adderall and then some more, um, until finally I got prescribed the max dose, for people. So yeah, my brain is a little screwy, just a little bit. But you know what? I feel so much better now. I feel incredible, actually. Once I got to the point where I was taking enough Strattera and Adderall in a day to feel normal, um, things sort of changed. I felt normal for the first time. That was huge for me. I had so much energy because I could do my work. and it felt good. I was like getting rewarded in my brain for doing my work, and it was it was a type of euphoria that I was waiting so long for. And I went home after that quarter, spring break. I think it was spring break. And I was like telling all my friends like, "Yo, I feel like great. Like I was able to do my work. I did a bunch of work in a little bit of time. I was just grinding it out. I was locked in and stuff." Um but then I came back to school the next quarter and I failed. I failed in like my projects and stuff. I wasn't doing good. So I was I was stuck asking myself what happened. I had medication before. I was able to do stuff. I did a lot of stuff. I'm on the same medication. What changed? Why can't I do work? And part of being normal means your ADHD symptoms are gone. And what that means is I no longer have the ADHD brain that grinds out everything last minute and gets it actually turned in. I don't have that brain anymore. I don't have a mental clock anymore that tells me, hey, now it's time to sit down and actually do work and like grind it out and finish your work and stuff. Because I didn't, I wasn't, I didn't have the effects of ADHD anymore. So that part of me was gone. And I started too late, didn't do enough work at the end, and I just I couldn't do it. And that was really hard for me. It was my first time in life really failing that badly, and this was genuinely some of the hardest times of my life because of ADHD, because I had that yapper. I had so many self-deprecating thoughts. I stopped taking medication because at this point I had been taking them without food so regularly that it just made me feel sick, nauseous. Like if I didn't have food, which I often wouldn't, I would just like get hit with a wave of sickness. Like this, my face would like feel flush and I'd get dizzy. I'd feel like I want to vomit. The appetite suppression, all of it, I didn't want to deal with it while I was dealing with myself, you know? Because I knew deep down that what I was missing was motivation, a reason to want to do the work. Because I've never had motivation in my life. I've never needed motivation. I always had ADHD to tell me, hey, it's time to do the work. So I had to find myself some motivation, but we'll get there. Feeling so useless off of medication and having my ADHD brain just tell me again and again, why can't you do this? What's wrong with you? Like, you should be able to do your work. Everyone else is. What's like, you're gonna fail. Like, you're a failure. What are you doing? You know, that sort of stuff. It was really difficult because I was like telling myself that all the time, and it was kind of true, but not anymore. So what changed? Well, a couple things changed. Um, First off, my doctor prescribed me an antidepressant, and that has helped so much. Honestly, it's my new favorite pill that I'm taking because it's really been helping me a lot. And and I'm just really happy to have it. I don't know. I just can't be more grateful to have that. ADHD was terrible, man. Like ADHD is god awful, especially mine. I know a lot of people have it worse, but mine I think is pretty miserable. Late at night, my yapper yaps. I will be eyes closed, still awake for hours at a time, just trying to go to sleep, but my brain is too active. It can't. It just can't shut down. And very often, I would have found myself just passing out from exhaustion at that point because I couldn't make myself go to sleep. I would try melatonin. I would try, warm milk. It did nothing worked. Nothing helped. But Strattera definitely did help. When people get medicated, sometimes they are told by their loved ones or family members that they feel like they changed. And I think I did change. When I first started taking Strattera, I did notice that I stopped talking as much. And that was because my yapper didn't really come up with anything clever to say or think of. So I kind of just stopped talking, just started listening some more. And it was kind of interesting just listening to people for the first time. Not that the first time I took Strattera, I was able to really listen to people because I couldn't really pay attention to what they were talking about too well. Yeah, I was, I was kind of just forced to be a listener. I just want to bring up that experience because that experience happened to me. I was a talker. I am now really much like a listener. I don't know. I can still talk if I have something like that I really want to say that I'm really interested in that I think you would be interested in too. I'll talk. I'll talk about it. It's just a little different now. When I started taking Adderall and Strattera, I was able to start listening to people's conversations more, pay attention, and internalize it even deeper than I was before. And I want to talk about this as well because, again, it's something that I experienced. It's a change that happened in my life. And that's really what this video is all about is the change that I've gone through in the last year. Something really jarring about taking Strattera for the first time was realizing the power of a pill because my mind changed so much after that first pill. I realized a lot of things immediately. I, unmedicated, often had the urge to go up to someone, to one of my friends, coworkers, and like say something to them, say something funny. And I had not felt that urge that day that I was working. It disappeared. Well, that's not true. I did have the urge. I had it once. And then I realized, hey, I can control this urge. I don't need to. And then I realized, oh my god, I have the power to like quell this urge. I can like control myself. And that was really exciting, but it was also kind of weird because all I did was take a pill and my mind changed so much. Like, the urges were very strong. Like, ADHD made me want dopamine constantly, and like it made me feel like I needed it, right? So being able to say no to these urges were, I mean, that's when I knew. But it also made me think like, dang, This is such a drastic change. All I did was take a pill. I thought about how normally in life to change, for something to change, something has to happen. And I've all my life really been used to change being a slow process. Long story short, it was, but in the moment, I was really shocked at the difference, the change that could happen with just a pill. It almost didn't feel right. It felt really weird that so much could change without effort. I thought, man, I'm gonna have to put in effort for like these medications to work, or something, or I don't know, to change, because I just wanted to change, right? And it was incredible to see how much I did change with such little effort. Let's talk about the next drug that I was prescribed. Let's talk about Adderall. When I started taking Adderall, it was rough. I was only taking Adderall. I wasn't taking Strattera. And for a week, I'd only taken Adderall and I felt like shit because I didn't have my Strattera. I realized, after looking on Google, can you combine ADHD meds? And for this combination, I could. And so I did it. And I felt different. It felt better. It felt better than just taking Adderall, because Adderall didn't do the same things as Strattera, and I needed the things that Strattera did. It wasn't enough Adderall. Now, I didn't know this. I don't really want to talk about the process of getting prescribed more and more Adderall, because it's kind of a boring story. I kind of just like felt like shit a lot. I didn't take my pills a ton. The side effects were really affecting me. I didn't want to feel like shit anymore. I continued feeling like shit because my ADHD would not stop feeding me self-deprecating thoughts. And I knew that medication had awful side effects on me that I didn't want to deal with. So for a long time, I didn't deal with the medication. I just dealt with the ADHD. And that made me really depressed. At this point, I had found out what it means to feel normal. I'd felt normal before. I had a really good quarter in school, but it didn't last. And it didn't last because I didn't have any motivation. So while I was depressed, I was really grasping at straws for anything to possibly motivate me, make me feel better, give me a reason to continue school, to continue treatment. I knew that if I wanted to get better, what I had to do was find motivation. Find motivation to take my medication, to go to class, to do the things that I need to do to succeed. That was really fucking difficult. It was very hard to come up with any reason to go to school, to be motivated to take my medication, to do anything. It was really difficult. And at this point, I had even gotten my antidepressants, right? But I wasn't taking them. I wasn't taking them because I still felt bad. I still didn't know how to motivate myself. I didn't know how I was going to make myself do work when I knew I didn't want to do it, because I had nothing motivating me to do it. My source of motivation was difficult to find because I wanted it to last. I didn't want to choose my motivation source to be something kind of flimsy or like whatever, something that I don't really believe in. I had to find something that I could find myself believing in. And I didn't want my source of motivation to be something that could go away. Or, I just didn't want my motivation to depend on something. Motivation. I keep saying that I found motivation, but I won't talk about it. So, motivation. Why am I motivated? I'm motivated because I want to be the best that I can be. I think that it would be a waste for me to live my entire life, for it to be my turn to live, and for me to not make the most of it. Because I'm only gonna live once. And that doesn't just go for me, that goes for everyone. All my ancestors, my mom, my dad, everyone that will come after me. They only get one chance to live. And I wanna do it right. I wanna live to the fullest. And what's motivating me now is the future. I am really excited for what the future has to offer for me because I know that this motivation will last. And I am so excited to see what I can do when I can actually lock in and do work, do what I want to do. I'm really dreaming big here. And dreaming big has helped me with my motivation as well. Because when I dream big, well, I haven't dreamed big in a really long time. So I haven't really thought about the future in that magnificent way. And now I kind of am. I think that the future has a lot in store for me. And that's what's motivating me. I really want to see the future. I really want to make the most of it as well, which is why every day I'm making the most of my day when I can. So I've been inspired. I've been inspired to dream big. I've been inspired to think about not just myself, but those who came before me and honor their lives by living mine to the fullest, doing the most with my life while I can, and truly appreciate this gift, the gift of life. Now, I will say, I only feel like this because of medication, and that has gotten me down. I have felt like, damn, I'm kind of useless without medication, but that doesn't bother me anymore, and it probably has a lot to do with the antidepressants, especially now that I'm taking them consistently. But I feel so good right now, and I feel like I really need to tell the rest of the world. I really hope you feel as good as I do right now. And if you don't, I really hope you get there one day. If you need medication or have been thinking about starting to take medication, I, with a heavy heart, have to recommend it. It has been a torturous past year, but the way I feel now, feeling good, actually good, is definitely worth it. I don't just feel okay, I feel good. I feel really good. I just really hope that for whoever is watching this, if you start taking medication, I hope it's not as bad for you as it was for me. And I hope that you reach this point soon because I am in a fantastic place mentally right now. Some of the differences between me before and now, I can finally do work. Part of that has to do with the motivation, a lot of it has to do with the medication, but I'm just happy that I'm able to do it. And not only that, I'm able to do it better. Now I have the ability to work on something a little bit, leave it for later, come back later and finish it. When I'm unmedicated, I'm very all or nothing. I either do it or I don't do it. I either start it and finish it or don't start it at all. And if I start something, I feel like I have to finish it. But not anymore. And it's helped me space out my day better. I can choose to do some things early in the day, finish on that task later in the same day. It's given me a lot of freedom. Currently, I'm still struggling with appetite suppression, and I don't get too great sleep. I'm sleeping a lot less, and I think it's because of the Adderall. But I don't mind the side effects too much. And I think it's definitely because of the antidepressants. They're definitely helping me feel better about them, and I'm totally okay with that because I feel really good right now. I cleaned up my room. I cleaned off my desk. I have like the feet. I want to have a clean desk now. I want I want everything to be organized, and I want to be productive. It's a few days later. I'm still editing the video, but I just wanted to say that I've always wanted these things. I've always wanted to have a clean desk. I've always wanted to do my work. I've always wanted a lot of things, right? But now, because of the Adderall, I have the ability to do work, to focus, um, and it that's been incredible. The difference between that and 88, like going unmedicated, um, it's not being able to do work while still wanting to do work, while having the yapper telling, feeding me self-deprecating thoughts, um, while still not being able to do the work and feeling bad about it and depression and stuff. Versus now, all I have to deal with are a few side effects, which are not that bad. And like, yeah, my sleep is affected, but I still feel okay. I still feel good. And that's sort of the whole point of this section of the video, is to get through how good I feel. I feel great. I am not mad at having to take the pills anymore. It's because the benefits of being medicated outweighs being unmedicated so much that I can't help but be grateful and be happy. Something that gave me a lot of courage was hearing that there is a difference between wanting to do work and simultaneously not being able to do work or not doing work, compared to not wanting to do work and not doing work because of that. I wanted to do my work. I just really couldn't. I would sit down at my desk. I'd pull up any program that I needed. I'd open up the assignment and I just could not do work. My brain just wouldn't let me. There was just a mental block that said, no, you can't. And I didn't. I don't have that anymore. That gave me courage, but it also made me realize that there's still something wrong with me. I sort of bring it up just because I kind of feel like now that I feel a lot better, I feel like one of the reasons why I feel so good right now is because I've been trying for a long time to feel better. I've been trying for a long time. I've been always wanting to do my work, right? Um, it took a lot of perseverance to not give up, because giving up is so easy, but I didn't. I never gave up. I was really close, but I couldn't. And I'm really glad that I didn't. I'm really glad I never gave up. So, if you are taking medication, good luck. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know if hearing my story will help anyone or if it'll even be interesting, but I really wanted to get my story out there just in case. I'm really curious to see what you have to say. I want to know if any of what I've said has resonated with you at all. I want to know if you can relate to any of what I've said. I'm just curious as to what you have to say. So, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Goodbye.